Suffering and pain and hurt is just part of the human experience. You can't deny your pain or your suffering or the hurt that's been inflicted on you. It's just real, and it's there, and you don't deny it. The real question, though, is, does it win? Does the hurt win? And I would want to propose that it never does. That suffering is never ultimately victorious, and that comes with your own ability to decide that. I knew a woman years ago named Soledad, who had two sons, Ronnie and Angel. Both of them worked for me in those days. And Ronnie was not from a gang, but every day after school he'd come and wash the windows of our old building. And then he graduated and then went on to the Marines. Angel worked for me in our silkscreen factory, but he was also able to graduate from high school, and I proudly have a picture of him up in my office in his graduation robes. Ronnie had come home from on a week's leave from the Marines, and he was coming home late one night after visiting his girlfriend, and had been to Jack in the Box, and his mother could hear from her bedroom people were hitting him up. "Where are you from?" He may have said, "The Marines." But then shooting started, and she ran outside, and he was dead just outside their house. He got full military honors at his funeral that I did. His mother just took a deep dive. She quit her job. She was always wearing black clothes. She stopped taking care of herself, basically. And a month into this, Angel stops her on a Sunday morning and says, "Look, you have 3 other kids. You have to stop this. You have to burn those clothes. You have to go in there right now, clean yourself up, do your hair, put on makeup. You have to get on with living." And it woke her up. And when she finally emerged from the bedroom, she had her hair done and had different clothes on, and had made her, put her makeup on. And Angel kind of grabbed her cheeks and said, "You look gorgeous." That afternoon, Angel was sitting on the front porch and he was eating a sandwich, and he sees this little kid, a guy from his neighborhood, running down the street being chased by 2 enemies. When he sees this, he knows what to do, so he starts to scramble to get into the house, and it was too late. The 2 guys chasing his younger homie shot him and killed him. Soledad would say to me later, I wish they had killed me too. I was saying Mass that day on Sunday at all the camps, and by the time I got word, I got to the house, and the house was packed with people, but Soledad was sitting by herself, alone in a corner. Forget Kleenex, forget handkerchief, she was sobbing into a bath towel. And my arms were too short to wrap around this outsized grief. I saw her a lot in the months that followed, but one day I saw her on First Street and we hugged each other, and I said, "How you doing, kiddo?" She stopped and she said, "I love the 2 kids who remain. I hurt for the 2 that are gone." And her eyes fill up with tears. And I think she was embarrassed about what she was about to say to me. And she said, "The hurt wins. The hurt wins." Some months later, I went to visit her in the hospital because she had kind of a heart murmur thing. And when I was visiting with her, she told me about what had happened when she came to the emergency room. She was lying on a gurney in the emergency room, and they were attending to her. But suddenly there was a commotion, and a kid was rushed in from the paramedics. And it was a young kid, like 15 years old, all shot up. They didn't pull the curtain that separated the 2, and so they were kind of attending to him, left her and attended to him. They were ripping off his clothes, they were pounding on his chest, they were screaming, "We're losing him, we're losing him." She noticed that the kid was a neighborhood kid from an enemy gang, probably the gang that ended up killing her 2 sons. And she remembered thinking, what would my friends say to me right now? She said, maybe they'd say, "Pray that he dies." But she said, "I cried like I've never cried, and I prayed like my life depended on it. And I prayed that he would live only because I don't want any other mother to go through what I've gone through." And the kid lived. And it always seems the hurt wins, but suffering is never victorious. In the end, it never is. Let's anchor ourselves in that sure and certain hope that it has no ultimate power over us. Amen. Francisco, are you doing this, friend? Yeah.